Good evening, everyone. This is Lisa, aka the Spoon Bunny, and tonight I have been asked to explain a little something called the spoon theory, which is something that was created and written by a wonderful young lady named Christine Miserandino, and it is a term, a theory that we often use to help describe what we in the chronic illness community go through on a daily basis, and is also the sort of generator of the term spoonie as well, which is another sort of pet term that we use to refer to ourselves in the chronic illness community. So again, the spoon theory was written and created by Christine Miserandino. And if you would like more information about her and the spoon theory, and to read more of her blog and find out a little bit more about her and her story, you can go to www.butyouDon'tLookSick.com. And so again, we're going to go through the spoon theory, and this all started when Christine was invited to lunch by a friend of hers. And so she and her friend were sitting in the diner having their lunch, and as the lunch went on, her friend was asking her all sorts of questions about what it was like to live with lupus, which was Christine's illness. And you know, Christine kept answering the questions, you know, sort of in medical terms, not really explaining what the day-to-day life was like and what she endured on a day-to-day basis. And so the friend kept asking and kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and, you know, sort of really desperately trying to understand what Christine was going through, and trying, you know, honestly, to figure out how she could help her friend. And so finally, Christine just sat back and asked her friend, you know, what is it you really want to know? And her friend responded, you know, I want to know what it's like for you, Christine. I want to know how I can help you, what I can do for you, how I can best understand you. And so Christine sat back and she thought and she thought and she thought, and it was several minutes that she just sort of contemplated this question, you know, how can I understand you? And so after several minutes and several moments of sort of casting about, trying to think of a way that she could explain this to her friend, you know, the spoon theory was born. And so Christine had been looking around the diner through these minutes, and finally she had an idea. She got up and she gathered every single spoon that she could find. She went to all the tables, all the booths, all the seats at the little bar in the diner, and she had gathered up all the spoons, every single one of them, and she handed them over to her friend. She said, you know what, here you go, congratulations, you now have lupus. And I'm going to say the same to you, the viewers, congratulations, you now have my illness. You now have CRPS, or RSD, as it's also known. But you now have a chronic illness. Congratulations. But since you've never had a chronic illness before, you don't know what it's like to live, you know, the day-to-day life of a spoonie, as we like to call ourselves. So since you don't know what it's like to live the life of a spoonie, or a person with a chronic illness, What I want you to do, my friend, is tell me what your normal day looks like starting upon wake up, the minute your alarm goes off. And her friend started off with, well, you know, when my alarm goes off, I have to get up out of bed. I've got to go get in the shower. When I'm done with my shower, I've got to get dressed. I've got to fix my hair. I've got to do my makeup. I've got to get out into the kitchen, fix my lunch, make sure I fix the kids' lunches, make sure that my kids are up, make sure that they get ready for school, make sure that that I get everybody off to school, make sure that I get off to work. And Christine, you know, writes that she just said to her friend, whoa, 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 back the truck up. That's not how life with chronic illness works. Remember, congratulations, you now have RSD. You now have a chronic illness. These spoons represent every unit of energy that you have throughout your day. They are finite. They are not limitless. You do not have an unlimited supply. And so you said that the first thing you have to do when you wake up in the morning, when your alarm goes off, is you have to get up out of bed, right? Yes. Okay. That costs you a spoon. So that's gone. That's taken. The next thing you have to do, because you now have a chronic illness, is take your meds. Well, here's the thing. Some of your meds require that you take them with food. And so you have to get up, you have to go into the kitchen, and you have to make yourself something to eat. What are you going to have? Well, her friend thought about it for a second. I was like, okay, these spoons aren't limitless. So she's already gotten wise to this. It's like, all right, well, the simplest, easiest thing is I'm going to have a bowl of cereal. Okay, sure. That still costs a spoon. That's now mine. So now you're going to take your meds, right? That's all. That also costs a spoon. Okay, now you're going to get in the shower, right? Because that's what you said. You had to go get in the shower. What all do you do when you're in the shower? Well, I shampoo my hair, I shave, I wash my body, and I do all that stuff. Okay, do you do that standing or sitting? Well, standing. I don't sit down in the shower. There's no seat. All right, that costs you 4 spoons. Standing in the shower and shampooing your hair and shaving and washing your body and all that good stuff, that's a lot of energy. That costs you 4 spoons. All right, so you said the next thing you have to do is fix your hair and do your makeup, right? Yes. 2 spoons each. That's gone. Okay, the next thing is fixing lunches, right? For you and your kids. How many kids? 2. 3 lunches, 3 spoons. Okay, off to work. How many hours do you work every day? 8. Okay, is your job physically demanding? Do you have to do a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of standing up, walking, things of that nature? Yes. Okay, so 8 hours of work, and your job is physically demanding. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at the end of your workday, you have 2 spoons left. What do you have left to do with your day? Well, I was gonna run errands. What kind of errands? Grocery shopping? Running to the post office? Her friend had already gotten the idea. And it was very obvious to Christine that her friend had already gotten the idea that grocery shopping running to the post office, all that stuff was already way out of the question. And so with those 2 spoons that were left, all that her friend could do at the end of her workday was cook a simple meal and watch TV before going to bed. That was her day. She was done. And at the end of that day, she was completely exhausted. And Christine writes that she went on to explain to her friend that if she ended up with 0 spoons at the end of her day, that all she could do was go to bed, she could take her meds, go to bed, and hopefully sleep. Because if you cannot sleep during the night, you're in the negative spoons the next day. And if you're in the negative spoons when you start any given day, then God help you, because that's already starting off on the wrong foot. And you can borrow against the next day's spoons, but you've got to make up for that somewhere. And you have to understand that your body is limited, and that when your body tells you that you need to stop and rest, you need to stop and rest. Otherwise, you are going to be in very, very awful shape by the next day. And so that's where the idea of spoonies and saving spoons and I need more spoons and the spoon theory has come from. And there's quite a few that are outside the chronic illness community that do understand it, but there are also still quite a few normies, as we affectionately refer to as our normal people still quite a few normies who don't understand it yet. And so that's why we still try and, sort of help everybody understand by wearing our Spoonie gear and all of our other fun sort of informational gear that you might see while we're out. I have all sorts of fun Spoonie shirts and neat little things that I get to wear that my friends like to laugh at and whatnot. My little hoodie right now says "cloudy with a chance of brain fog." So, so now that you know what a Spoonie is, the next time you see one walking down the street, just sort of offer them a hug and maybe one of your spare spoons the next time you see. All right, y'all have a great night. Hope to see you the next time around. Have a great night.